Hello everybody, this is a video about Google Cloud Platform, deploy VM instances. We're going to deploy a VM instance from scratch using some code that we have got from Google Cloud Platform GitHub repo, and I've just forked it. So it's Google Cloud Platform / deployment manager -samples. And if you come to the README page at the home page, and scroll down, eventually you will get to try a basic deployment in Cloud Shell, open the quick start tutorial. So let's do that. Just need to open in Cloud Shell, confirm it's going to download the GitHub repo to the Cloud Shell. And there we go. That's our tutorial notes on the right hand side. My head's partially obscuring it. For that I apologize, but you're not missing anything. And what it's done is it's downloaded a YAML file with most of the settings it will need. The one thing that we will need to do is we'll need to update our project ID. Do you want to start where you left off? No, I want to start from scratch. So first thing we need to do is teach me. This is just particular to the tutorial. So copy to clipboard and right, next. Quick start deployment, virtual machine is a resource. So everything's a resource that we want to, which you would add to a deployment configuration file. So you see resources here on line 24. Everything that follows is a resource, i.e. the instance. Your deployments can contain dozens of resources from various different cloud services, and you use Deployment Manager to manage them from a single file. So let's start. Select a project. We need to tell it that the project is the main. So it's my experimental project, Mickey 331609. Enable billing, it's already enabled. Configure the gcloud command line tool to use your project. So gcloud config set project, Mickey. So gcloud config set project is a command followed by my project name. Yours will be different. It's gone off the edge there, but it's still getting pasted in. Run this command to enable the deployment manager and compute APIs. So gcloud services. So there it was gcloud config. Now we're doing gcloud services. We're going to enable compute and deployment manager. So just click that and it pastes it in for us. And once that's done, we can go to page 2. To begin, run these commands to open the quick start configuration in vm.yaml. So cd, then we go to the YAML and we're going to go and edit the YAML. So to be honest, it's already open, but we'll just run that anyway. And the basic configuration file describes a deployment that contains one virtual machine instance with the following properties. So it's going to create a machine type called that's the type of machine. So typically it could be an E2, this is F1 and so on. It's it describes the configuration of the VM. You can have micro, small, large. It's basically it's the spec of the machine. Image family, Debian. So I think it's put all of that in this YAML file already for us. No, it's put the zone in already, we can see. Where is the quick start deployment VM? Let's just make this a little bit, let's just close that and drag that across. Here we go. So you can see machine type, F1 micro here. So within this line, machine type, we're specifying F1 micro. Image family, Debian 9, that should be down here. Debian 9. So all this is just in the YAML file. So it's not actually sort of code with conditional logic as such. It's just a list. It's like a requirements.txt for Python, kind of. Root persistent disk boot, and that will be on, where will that be? Oh, there it is. Disks device name boot. and then a randomly assigned external IP address. In the configuration file, replace my project with your project ID. So my project ID is just losing the mouse temporarily. Mickey-331609. I'm just going to copy that from my text file. And we just need to edit the YAML file, not the YAML. Yeah, we need to edit the YAML file, and we need to edit because I've run this once already to test it for the video, it's already put it in there, but that actually did say when you run it, you'll actually see something like this when you first try this example. And then you just need to paste in your project there, and you need to do it there as well. Okay, and then it tells you to save, but autosave's already turned on anyway, so you shouldn't need to do that. So step 3. So what we've done so far is we've downloaded a GitHub repo. We've enabled 2 APIs, deployment API, and now we need to do deployments create, deployment manager, deployments create, quick start deployment. So we're just going to deploy your resources. Use the gcloud command line tool to create a new deployment using your configuration file. So there we go. And that's looking a right mess, isn't it? It's still doing it. It's just the display manager wasn't actually showing it correctly. So once this is completed, we should be able to go to our graphical user interface, and we should see a brand new virtual machine. So at the moment I've got one called instance 1, I believe, and I've got one called Mickey-VM. So once this is complete, in fact, while that's running, let's just go to next. To check the status of the deployment, run this command. So I'm actually just going to run that from the command line, and then we'll go and look at the GUI. So gcloud deployment-manager, deployments, describe, quick start deployment. And we should see that we've got a brand new VM. So that's completed, type, name. So when we go back to the GUI, we're expecting to see this as a third VM. So let's just go next, open the deployment. This is just opening the GUI again for us, I tell a lie, it wasn't going to, I don't know if you can see the time. It's the time is currently 4:20, so yeah, that was created 4 minutes ago. Let's look at the config, and there we have it. The config that is what we actually had in the YAML file. So if we go back here and then we go to compute VM instances, we'll see the page that we're more familiar with looking at once it refreshes. I didn't delete them, did I? I just stopped them. So that's the new one. And what we've done is we've deployed a new instance of a VM without actually clicking on any of these buttons. So let's just go next. And I think, yeah, gcloud deployment manager, deployments, delete, quick start deployment. And if I run that, that should delete it. And then if we go back here and refresh, might take a while. Sorry, this I think it's better to actually run the shell in a separate screen, isn't it, or separate browser window. I'm trying to do it here just all on one screen for the sake of video making for the sake of filming. That's my excuse anyway. It's deleting it, so any second now it should disappear. So if I keep refreshing this, you can see something's happening. Got the little spinny disk. So what I wanted to do here was actually use the deployment manager, and I have looked at how to do it with Python, and I may or may not do it with Python in due course. Really, all of this is just a project or a series of videos that will gradually build upon each other. And what I will be using the deployment manager for will probably be to create 1, 2, 3 VMs, which I will then be using to do interesting things with Python code. So yeah, I know this is not strictly a Python video as such, but it's all part of the overall master plan. And once this is finished, it looks like it's finished, we should see that disappear. I'm just going to refresh that again, and you can see it's gone. So that was a really good tutorial. I love the way that it types all the commands in, and you don't get typos, and you have to keep fiddling around with copy and paste and so on. So I think that's been quite a good, useful video. And if you're not over familiar with YAML, which I can't claim to have used it lots, it's a good kind of thing to know because it is good for automation and continuous integration. If you look on RGG, sorry about the typing. GGH GitHub. Go back here. I just want to show you something I did recently, which was it's probably this one, I think. Just testing out the GitHub Actions, and you can see I've got a green tick there. So if you'd like me to do a video about GitHub Actions and continuous integration, to be honest, I copied Indian Pythonista. So if you check out his video, and he shows you how to do it really well. But yeah, you get a little green tick, and it just says that all your tests have passed. And you have GitHub workflows, and inside your GitHub workflows, you have a YAML file, and you tell it what version of Python you're using. And I actually did this with you've got linters and everything there. And I did this with, I was testing out pipenv rather than venv, but that's a topic for another day. But for now, this was a video about Google Cloud Platform deploying VM instances. So although I only created one here, potentially you could create more than multiple VM instances. And I think that's something which will be very useful. And again, we don't want to be using mouse to click on various things and buttons and remember which drop down the stuff is on. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you found this enjoyable. Really, if you need to copy this or go through the tutorial yourself, either go to the Google Cloud repo, the Google Cloud GitHub page, or go to my RGGH and you'll see the repo there, which is public. So look, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up and all that. So see you next time. Thank you.